Hey guys, Miss A here, and today I am going to talk to you guys about home insurance. So up until this point, we've talked about costs that go into purchasing a home, buying a home, and now we're going to talk about once you get in that house, you need to purchase home insurance. So we're going to go over a bunch of vocabulary having to do with that, and then we're going to go over percentages of coverages, and we're going to practice that. All right. So by the end of this, hopefully you'll be able to understand home insurance and what is covered, calculate replacement value, and calculate different coverages given percent covered. So let's hop into the vocab because there's a lot of new words. So homeowners insurance provides financial protection against various losses. So if you have homeowners insurance, if you have a loss on your home or anything happens to it, the insurance company will help you pay to have it fixed. So property damage coverage pays for damage to the home. So damage to the home and personal property, such as really anything that you can think of that's in your house. Could be your TV or your clothes or furniture. Anything that's in your house that could be covered. Oops, let's move that over. And a couple things that could cause this. It could be a fire. It could be a flood. Here in Buffalo we get a lot of snow. It could be snow. It could be wind. Anything that could cause damage to your house. There's also flood insurance specifically for flooding. Might not be something that we worry about too much here in Buffalo. Maybe sometimes during heavy rainfall, but a lot of places in the U.S. have to worry about flooding a lot more. Anywhere along the coastline might have to worry about it. Specifically, if you think about New Orleans, Louisiana, where Hurricane Katrina hit, those people had to have flood insurance. Maybe Florida, maybe somewhere in California, anywhere along that coastline. So personal liability coverage protects the homeowners from someone who alleges that your negligence caused them bodily injury or property damage. So who alleges that your negligence caused them bodily injury or property damage. So this big word negligence, it could also be something like not being responsible to fix something that's wrong with your house. So say you have a step leading into your house and it's made of wood, and one of those pieces of wood is loose and someone trips and falls over it. That could be considered negligent because you knew that step needed to be fixed and someone got hurt on it. So if they get hurt, they could sue your liability coverage. Alright, if you need to rewind and go back, I know those were a lot of new words. But moving on, medical coverage pays for medical expenses for non-family members accidentally injured on your property. So again, someone steps and falls on your on one of your steps leading into your house, they would get your medical coverage. Loss of use coverage pays for the expense from living away from your home while your damaged home is being repaired. So if you have a fire in your house, you have to go stay at a hotel for a little while, your loss of use coverage would pay for that hotel. Replacement value is the amount required to reconstruct your home if it's destroyed. To recover full payment, you must insure your home for at least 80% of its replacement value. So if you want full payment for your house, you have to have at least 80% of what your house is worth covered on your insurance. It's good to take out more though, because if you only take out 80% of your house or what it's worth, you'll only get 80% of what it's worth if something is completely destroyed. So you might not get exactly what you lost. It might be a lesser house. Nothing that was inside of it would be covered because it's only 80% of the house value. So you always want to take out more to cover those things. So let's practice that. Up here you'll see that your insurance is going to be broken down into different coverages. Right here it's medical coverage, loss of use, and here's personal property. So let's go through this. Miss Jenkins insured her home for 80% of its replacement value of $240,000. Using the percentages above, find the coverage for the following. So let's first start out with total coverage, see how much her insurance policy will cover. So it's going to be $240,000, the cost of the house, and she insured 80% of it, or 0.80. So that is going to give you a coverage of $192,000, and then from that $192,000 you will get your coverage. Your coverage is 40% for personal property, 30% for loss of use, and 15% for medical coverage. So let's break that down again from that $192,000. So personal property is 40% of that, and 40% of $192,000 is going to give us $76,800. So that is how much would go to personal property. Moving on, 30% would be for loss of use. We're going to go back to that $192,000. We're still splitting that up. And 30% of that is going to be $57,600. And that would be the amount that is covered for our loss of use, or the amount that we could use should our house be destroyed. Medical coverage is going to be 15% of that $192,000. And that is going to be $28,800. So each of those dollar amounts that we just found comes from breaking down that $192,000. So that's how much would go towards each of these. All right, let's practice another one. Mr. and Mrs. Jones insured their home for 90% of its replacement value of $320,000. Using the percent from above, find the coverage for the following. So again, our total coverage is going to be the full price of that house, $320,000 times 90%, and that is going to give us a total coverage of $288,000. So from that, our personal property, up here it tells us 50% of that personal property is covered from that $288,000. So $288,000 times 0.50 for 50% is going to give us $144,000 for personal property coverage. Oops, why did that disappear? There we go. Our loss of use is going to be 20%. So again, we're going back to that $288,000, and we want 20% of that. Alright, when you multiply that out, your loss of use will be $57,600. And then lastly, the garage and other structures coverage will be $288,000 times this 10% up here, so 0.10, and that is going to give you $28,800 to cover your garage and other structures. So again, those dollar amounts that we're finding are just that total coverage being broken down by the percentages given in the table. Alright, and lastly, James lives in Tampa in a high flood zone residential area. He is insured on his condo for 85% of its replacement value of $180,230. After a storm took out James's patio, which housed an entertainment area with equipment worth $8,250, His replacement percentage insurance for equipment covers 12%. Will James have to pay out of his pocket for any of his equipment to be replaced? So we want to find out how much of his insurance is going towards that equipment coverage, and then does it cover his damage of $8,250. So first we want to find the replacement value. So we're going to take the cost of our home, $180,230, times 0.85, because we have 85% of our house insured. And that gives us a total coverage of $153,195.50. And again, that is your total coverage. From that, we can break it down into our equipment, and it's going to be $153,195.50 times 12%, because that is how much they give us for our equipment. So 0.12. And that will give us an equipment coverage of $18,383.46. And it's asking us, will James have to pay out of pocket for any of his equipment? Since our equipment coverage